The Heresy Accountability Buddies podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountability Buddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountability Buddies.
Welcome to episode 103 of Heresy Accountability Buddies. Tonight we have a non-jam-packed, non-action episode for you. But to let you know who you're dealing with tonight, I'm Jack with my fellow hosts of
Dan,
Duncan,
Jamie, and John.
and Jack. All right, so we're going to hold on for a second for a station identification.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
And thank you to our Patreons. Let's kick it off with hobby or news. What do y'all want to do tonight?
I think we have something to call out before hobby or news.
Oh,
And
look
that
at Dan being a consummate, professional. What we got, Dan?
So, just a reminder for this holiday season that we have a store with cool merch up for sale with our logo and all of our other cool artwork, including the recently released artwork. You can get t-shirts and hoodies. I don't know. Did we get the G-strings or no? We didn't set that up.
No. We tried looking at the G-strings, and unfortunately, they just really did not work out for us in a positive manner.
But anyway, you can get a t-shirt or a hoodie with a bunch of really cool heresy themed artwork on for yourself or for your loved ones. Wouldn't your spouse or significant other look much better in Accountability Buddies hoodie than without one on? I think so.
Guaranteed to make you smarter and roll better.
Not actually guaranteed in any states.
No, not guaranteed to any states whatsoever.
It will make you look cooler at heresy events at the very least. That is a fact.
Now that's possible.
Also, not guaranteed. That is purely suggestions.
I didn't say it would make you look cool. I said cooler. Right? I mean, I'm always going to look like a big nerd, but I might be a little bit cooler as a big nerd with the heresy stuff on. Anyway.
And you can find our store as the first link on heresypodcast.com, which is
heresypodcast.com.
heresypodcast.com.
Listen to that.
heresypodcast.com.
Yes, Jack.
That sounds even more professional than just bringing up the store, like actually telling people where the hell to go find it.
Indeed.
Where can they find it again?
heresypodcast.com.
We're styling.
Duncan's already over my pad.
And we're styling and profiling. So, yes, there we go.
And we're groovy. I'm trying to bring groovy back, by the way.
I'm not going to pretend I'm surprised at all there. Yeah. So anyway, so John, given our history with you starting off the hobby stuff, you want to start that for us?
Sure. So
we get out of the cycle of circling around the exact same thing.
Yeah, at heresypodcast.com. So the
Where was that again? Where was that at?
hobby wise, I was able to we kind of touched on a little bit on our Patreon episode, but I was able to start organizing a lot more for the tables. So I've got all of the city fight stuff kind of organized. I found some more Pegasus ruins this week while I was cleaning up. And then I started building a lot of the statues that go with the kind of memorial garden. So I finished the 2 giant fountains. One of them has been updated with statues on top of it and a Thunder Warrior on the very tippy top. I found a Loyalist Horus sculpt online that I've built up and mounted to a plinth, as well as an Emperor. And I'm kind of starting to lay out and design what I'm going to be using a lot of my older epic models for, as kind of these memorial garden kind of vignettes. And so we can have little dioramas going around, and that's kind of what people are going to be fighting around, is the memorial parts. I'm really basing it off of a local kind of all branches of the military memorial garden that's set up here in Plano. It's actually really neat. Christine and I used to like to walk it a lot playing Pokemon Go and stuff, but there's a lot of statues and sculptures of different heroes and things. So that's kind of what I'm basing it around. I've got a lot of different epic scale stuff, not only from GW, but from Vanguard miniatures, with Thunderhawks and things like that, and also some stuff from Fallout that kind of themed with it. But I definitely think this is going to be a neat table. It's going to have a lot of cool stuff on it. And I even found a working fountain that'll go in the middle of it that'll be powered by a little battery pack that I've got picked up off of Amazon. That's for the memorial table. For the city fight table, I've got, like I said, all the stuff kind of organized for that. I've been finding a lot of the different pieces of furniture and kind of scattered terrain that I painted a long time ago. So we're looking at like bars, different couches and things like that that can be kind of tipped over. Again, the kind of central focus on this one is going to be the big Serpentor statue that's fallen over, kind of like the Christ in Brazil. But I also want to have some like in half intact buildings. So if anyone's played the opening to Metal Gear Solid 4, you kind of fight through an Arab city in the Middle East, but you also fight through buildings that have kind of fallen over, and you kind of crawl over cabinets on the wall and stuff like that. So I think that'd be kind of cool to try to recreate in city fight form.
You have everything you need for that.
I've got a lot of it, and I might be hitting you up for some stuff. I know that I've got Michael printing me out some dead Marines to hide around the places and some things like that. But I'll definitely hit you up for some of the stuff that I might be needing.
I have some leftover Cities of Death parts, like bigger parts, like the cathedral walls and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah, I'll take any of that you want. I found the Aquila building.
Yep.
Skilled, and then I've got some casts of the Aquila itself, the nose of it, that I'm gonna scatter around. But yeah, any other parts like that, shoot me. We'll figure something out offline.
All right, cool.
And then I started assembling some of the actual Legions Imperialis Marines that I'm going to be putting on some of those diorama parts. And then found some of the not only am I doing the moving fountain, the fountain for the one table, but the other table is going to have a big crashed spaceship. That's what is going to be kind of have hit the statue to cause it to fall over. Inside of that spaceship is going to be a bunch of dead people.
Is it a giant cobra shaped flying wing?
No, it's actually it's an escape pod from Star Wars, but
No, I know. I'm just playing. I know. You know what I'm talking about.
I've got one of those too for a different table idea.
Hey, for their epic scale stuff, I have a whole box of mostly plastic orc stuff from back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can shoot me a picture of some of it, that might help. Because I'm going to have some of the stuff is going to be like memorializing battles, like this one's for Ulanor and things like that.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking if that's their theme, it might make sense to have like some orc vehicles on there. And
Yeah.
I was going to use some of it for basing, and some of it's like melted and warped, but there's enough good stuff in there, I think.
Yeah, if you want to send me a handful, I'm not doing a ton of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But 5 or 6 would be good.
I'll dig it out and take a look and hit you offline for that too.
Cool. Thank you. And then I found a recording online of someone talking through how to use the rolling Green Stuff World rollers a little better. Someone recommends using baby powder and water and then dipping the rollers in that. And apparently that helps a lot with some of the stickiness. And so I went to Walmart and bought some baby powder and some tubs that are roughly the size of the rollers and some other stuff. So that way I can kind of try to finish off some of the last nights that I need to do.
I just use Vaseline when I did mine. It seemed to work.
I was just using water and it wasn't because some of the ones I've got are a little more intricate and some of the I've got some rollers that are not Green Stuff World, they're just 3D printed to use for my custodes that are going to be using just Screaming Faces. And
Yeah.
so, and then I also found out that RX just makes Screaming Faces bases, so I think I'm just going to buy those and just make it easier using Heresy ABB as my discount code.
Yay.
And where would you find that discount code?
Probably on heresypodcast.com.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been me. I've been doing a lot of terrain work and kind of organizing everything. I have taken 3 truckloads to the dump and to old family members and things like that of mine and Christina's stuff, just trying to get more organization so I can work on more projects. That is everything I've done. So what about Jack? You and I ran into each other this week.
We did. You took me on a date. You tried to wine and dine me,
I
but
did
I'm
lay
not
some
that
pipe.
easy.
I did lay some pipe.
No, I see here. Did the Warhammer cafe and store in Dallas. Saw that this week. Hung out with John. He took me to in that's names, right?
Yeah, we went to Daiso and some other places.
Oh, John's favorite place,
Yep.
Daiso.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, they were both cool as shit. Absolutely not gonna lie. The Warhammer store was. I don't. Maybe from going to the old Chicago Battle Bunker back in the day, it was. I don't know. It felt kind of let downy to me. Like they had a lot of cool stuff in there, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think I had it bigger in my head than what it actually was. So,
Okay. Just an old
um,
store. It's kind of neat, but like I think with the revolution now, it's of online shopping, the majority of things that are kind of exclusive to the store have sold out long ago, and now it's just some of the stuff from Warhammer merch is there, and that's about it.
yeah. So I almost bought a beanie, an Ultramarines beanie, but I talked myself out of it because it didn't have a price tag. And a long time ago, I learned if you have to ask, you don't want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan, what about you? What have you been up to, dog?
Let me see here. This week I worked on more World Leaders. Surprise, surprise. I had yeah, I think that's about it. That's really all I did was work on the World Leaders and then do work stuff. Oh no, that's not all I did. I did a little bit of research into a topic that we talked about on our Patreon episode too, about that might involve a book we'll talk about here in a little bit. And I got a little bit more tidbit confirmation that the book is real and it's not a pile of bogus BS that people originally thought it was. So that's a good thing. And beyond that, I have not done anything else. It's mostly just been a week where I went to work, did work stuff, and that was about it. I did work a little bit with Pennsylvania Mike on some lists for stuff for an upcoming project for the podcast that we've got working on, involving Iron Hands and an army of stuff that came from Pop Goes the Monkey. But that's really been about it. Not a lot, I admit, but it's better than nothing. So, Danny boy, what have you done?
Yeah, pretty much nothing. I still working on trying to build this command squad that's goes with my Valentis Dolar. So I'm kind of working out the the Thunder Hammers, I have 2 of the sword arms, which the Thunder Hammers will fit right around. But of course, I don't want 2 posed the same. So I'm kind of planning out which of one of the arms I'm going to hack in half of the Cataphractii arms to kind of make that pose a little bit different. And I have some stuff coming this week, which includes the Primus Medicae model. So I'm hoping to have that squad built by next weekend, next week. So I can get primer down on them while the weather is somewhat reasonably warm here in Chicago area. So then I will be able to start putting paint down. And that's about it. Not a whole lot of progress, but slowly but surely working that unit together.
Hey, working on it is what works, right?
Yep. But also been trying to plan the color scheme. So for those that don't know, Valentis Dolar is one of the Tetrarchs. He's an unremembered empire, and he's described as white with blue rather than blue with white. And so obviously he's going to be that color, but I'm going to do his command squad is going to be predominantly blue, but I'm trying to figure out which pads. I want some of the pads to be white just as to show they belong in his command squad and keep them separate from the rest of the Ultramarines kind of thing. So I'm trying to plan that scheme out, see think of what'll look good. So, yep. Let's see. Jamie hasn't gone. I think you're the last one left.
So like soccer season ended, so like I've actually been productive this week, amazingly enough. And so I was on Hobby Hangout this week on Wednesday and got to started building some Golden Keshig bikes, which not as hard to build. They're not hard to build. Just like the same thing with the new GW jet bikes. They're not hard to build. It's just a lot of parts. Cool models. I had never built them before, but yeah, started on those. I've got 6 more to do, I think, and then I got a chaplain conversion for one of those I've got to do. And then I started on a top secret terrain project for Brian and John. John knows what I'm talking about. I've been having to do test prints to get something set up to produce stuff potentially for an event that you all will be attending, hopefully. And I know John is definitely attending, and so is Brian. But so yeah, I'm trying to help them make some terrain that they have requested. And it's been a little bit of trial and error trying to get everything fit on my build surface and printing correctly. So that has taken 3 days. Yeah, I'd say let's say 3 days to get all that the first print done. But now I know where I'm going, it won't take anywhere near as long. So other than that, that's pretty much it. I've been very busy home life and work life, so I'm happy to get some stuff done, and this week should be a little bit better too. So I'll get a lot more done. And then I know coming into Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving, or the week before Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving, my family's going to be out of town, so I'll get a lot more done. So anyway, that is, I guess, it for all of our hobby updates tonight, correct? So I guess we're heading to new releases.
Yeah, so news has been jam-packed, which is one of the reasons we kind of wanted to get this episode out, even with some technical difficulties going on. Let's go all the way back to 2 weeks ago, roughly. So the start of November, Games Workshop dropped some calendars on the Warhammer merch website. One calendar for every game system, and then some factions got their own calendar, like Knights and Custodes. And these calendars originally went up at $20 and they didn't really sell for the first week. And so they marked them down to $17. And immediately after marking them down, before I could click buy it now, the Heresy calendar sold out.
And I would have gotten it. I didn't even realize it had been out till you showed me the picture of it.
Yeah. It's just funny that the only one that sold out was the Heresy calendar.
As it should be.
Yeah, that's what I said. As it should be, as expected.
But while that stuff came out on Warhammer merch, they also dropped a ton of other Christmas present type stuff.
Yeah.
A Space Marine 2 gift set, which is 2 pairs of socks and a collectible coin. The aforementioned Ultramarines beanie that Jack ran into, as well as an Ultramarine scarf and socks that are all kind of knit. They're coming out with new candles. So they updated the Chaos God candles. And they're coming out with a Dark Angel candle and a Catachin candle. Dark Angel claims to be the scent of faith and tallow.
What?
Because the Catachin,
I'm interested. I'll have to go by the GW store to smell it.
Catachin one claims to be the scent of a Death World potpourri.
Lovely.
I was thinking it just smelled like a candle burning, right? There's nothing there.
Oh, there's a Tau Imperial candle that is the scent of pheromones and expansion.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, my scent of expansion's bacon primarily, so I don't know. That might be good.
I always thought it'd be funny if the Slaanesh one, you just opened it and it played that old song, I Smell Sex and Candy. But
Oh, Lord, no.
Marcy's play.
Yeah, Marcy's Playground, yeah.
They also dropped a bunch of Christmas gift sets. And so these started out at $63. Some of them have been marked down to $57. Some of them have been marked down from $70 to $57. They all kind of go all over the place. Even though they're all exactly the same, it's a cup, a journal, and a t-shirt of whatever theme that you happen to get. So they've got Khorne, Fire Slayers for Age of Sigmar, Thousand Suns, Tyranids, Necrons, Dark Angels. So if you just go to Warhammer merch, there's a bunch of different ones that are available. Apparently these are cotton t-shirts, if that matters to people. There's an Ultramarines gift set, but it's just reprints of all the Ultramarine one, at least, is reprints of some of the stuff they've had in the merch store for a while. Along with that,
I'm sure since they bundled it, it's a lot cheaper, right? That's how that works.
I don't know if that's true with GW anymore.
I know that was sarcasm.
Yeah. The Joy Toy wise, we've got images of Khorne World Eaters. So they've got 5 different on foot guys and one riding a Juggernaut coming out soon.
Sweet.
You can always put those along with your normal World Eaters for Heresy. Run them that way. The company I talked a little bit about, Cool Toys Club, they're starting to do more sculpts for Primarch helmets as well as different weapons you can add on to your Joy Toy figures. We're not going to do announcements for this Cool Toys Club because their print runs are always so small. By the time I see it and then announce it to you, it could already be sold out. So if you want to follow up on them more often, you can do that. They're pretty cheap for Joy Toy figures. They're shipping straight from China, so you get a lot of savings there. And they do have free shipping if you spend a certain amount of money. I do recommend them because I've bought some of the helmets and stuff like that. So they've had pre-orders go live. I bought the Pain Glove for my Dorn figure, and that was a wait of about 4 weeks, but it eventually got here. There's a company called greenstrawberry.cz. I know that sounds like a scam website, but they actually do a lot of photo etch stuff for Star Trek models, and they've started branching off into hobby wargaming stuff. And so they have a small loincloth and paterges, which are those leather straps for different wargaming figures. So if you want to do a fancy, correctly scaled display piece, this is probably the best place to do that. Pick up some of those from.
So you're talking Joy Toy scale or 28
normal
millimeter scale.
30K figure scale.
Okay.
Because the Paterges that come sculpted on figures are way too thick for that scale.
Yeah.
They look right, but they're just way too thick. But these guys have loincloths, they have Paterges, they have beat up loincloths, and they even have like looks like the Merkava ball armor, but it's for chain loincloths and things like that. So there's a bunch of different. They're $25 a set, but you get like it looks like 15 different pairs. So that should be more a couple units for display pieces.
Yeah, because turgis should be like the size of like or the thickness of like
Leather.
the lead straps or your lead like when you sculpt capes and that sort of stuff, right? More than the thicker.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get that scaled on plastic or resin.
Star Forged has started releasing more Space Marine 2 stuff. So the giant statues you see a lot in the game are now they've sculpted them as keycaps. So if you've got a mechanical keyboard, you can replace the keycaps with those little statues. Look kind of neat. They look about an inch tall. And then the giant bell that you see in the game that kind of falls over and is a really cool set piece in one of the missions is available as a giant bell that you can put on terrain. I think it's pretty cool. It's got a bunch of different Mechanicum symbols sculpted into it and stuff. Just a reminder, they also make a sensor ball, so you can light your own incense and put it inside of it and smoke in different areas if you have spirits to ward away or something like that.
Or
And
just really like patchouli.
Yeah, if you want. Well, what's really cool is their incense comes in skull shapes.
Okay.
I don't know what it smells like, but I'm sure it's interesting. I can never handle those smells, but I thought the sensor was too cool not to buy to put on a display board later.
I was gonna say probably too strong if it's like most incense. So
They also have this it's really odd kind of thing. They call it free gift this month, but it costs $1,000. It's
That's a hell of a free gift,
I'm
right
not
there.
sure that we have the same definition of free.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah. So according to the description, and you kind of have to put some English together here.
English.
For $1,000, you get this little servo skull keychain, and every month from now on, you will get a discount code that you can use to purchase stuff in the future. Apparently, there's going to be some exclusive stuff that only comes through this group of $1,000 people, and you also get free shipping going forward.
This sounds very much like the Columbia House Record Club in the 70s and 80s.
Only a penny.
Yeah. Honestly, I like a lot of Starforge stuff. I a lot of it I've bought in, probably more than $1,000 worth, but I don't see myself dropping $1,000 hoping that something happens there that's cool.
Yeah.
Hoping that a company will be there in a year to come.
Yeah. Yeah, because they are Chinese, so it's hit or miss whether they're going to be existing or GW just drops the license and disappears. They've got some other cool stuff. We've announced before they've got the Dune license, they've got Ace Combat, World of Warships. They came out with a stuffed torpedo that's kind of funny looking, but it's $1,000 is awful lot for a blind buy.
Did you say stuffed torpedo?
He did, and I've seen it. It's pretty hilarious.
Wait, hold on.
I'm thinking about. Am I the only
Stuffed
one that's
torpedo.
thinking about a Spinal Tap song right now?
Probably are.
Yes.
To be fair, that's probably a good point. But you should all watch Spinal Tap if you don't know what it is. So
Yeah, it comes in,
how long
Turkey.
is this torpedo?
I'll just send it to you. It comes in small, 8 centimeters, or large, 110 centimeters.
Yeah, I've seen the large one.
What?
The large one is pretty big.
Yeah.
centimeters, not. I'm thinking 8 millimeters. I'm like, damn, that's small. But all right, yeah.
And then finally, from official GW, not a lot. So this weekend they finally dropped the melee weapon sprue. I picked one up. It's like we've gone over before. It's kind of limited in some of its uses. And then next weekend, or I think next weekend or weekend after is going to be the official release date of the Christmas boxes, which includes
Knights.
the Knights box, which is 4 armigers in one big knight. Again, you get all the weapons for the armigers, but you only get the basic weapons for the knight.
It's actually a good deal. I
Yeah.
priced it out.
It is a
It's-
good deal as long as you know that what you're getting. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, they've discontinued the sprue that has the hand on it, right?
the fist and the AA gun and the
yeah, you can still buy
Yeah.
all those weapons from Tarot Model Maker. They're
Right.
about 20 to 30 or 40, depending on what you're getting, dollars a piece.
And they have other cool stuff besides that.
Yeah, and you can also trade with your other friends that are running knights. I mean, a basic knight isn't terrible as an ally, and you need armigers to run the knight itself. So it's
Yep.
not a terrible buy.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
did that, I realized it was not last year; it was 22. But I got the box when they did that in 22. Now that one did come with that extra night sprue, and it
Well, there's-
came with the little dude that's the name character that came with.
Well,
the-
that's two different sprues. There's the name character one with the special laser weapon.
Yeah,
Okay, and then the other sprue is the power fist, the
Yeah.
AA gun for the carapace, and the missile rack for the carapace.
when they did it 2 years ago, they had that was in there, and I bought that to make sure I had enough armigers and everything to build my night list when I get around to finish that up.
Yeah,
But so the new one is 220, correct? And just to throw out a reference, $220 US, which that seems like a lot, and I'm not going to say it's not, but a single new knight boxed right now is $179.
Yeah,
And an
What is-
armature box is $94.50 for two.
what you do,
So
buy the set for 240, and then buy another knight, and that way you've got the
Yeah.
fifth, the laser, because what you're getting in the box is you're getting the
this is the
chainsaw,
base knight, yeah.
the chainsaw, the battle cannon,
Delta,
delta gun, and that's it.
Gatlin blaster,
Not the
or is
guy-
that the secondary sprue?
I think that's the secondary sprue.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're getting the thermal cannon, the battle cannon, and the big chainsaw for the base knight.
Yeah, but if you
it's just
you buy one of each, if you buy the box set and an extra knight,
Yeah.
the extra knight comes with the 3 AA weapons.
Yep.
So you can add them on there, and you don't have to take carapace weapons in 30K if you don't want to. I recommend it because it's the only AA you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the box, if you price it out individually, which you can't because of the way the knights are packaged now, is like $365 if they did it normal price. So the price that they have it on, if it's still available, I haven't looked at today. Yesterday when it stayed up, but is a very good deal if you're in trying to buy knights. And I mean, I'm not telling people to buy knights, but like if you're looking for deals from GW, this is a legit deal. So
The last thing from official GW, we don't have an official and release date for it yet. It's just coming soon. Is the Primarchs collection, the Visions of
Mhm.
Glory and Despair. If you've been buying the
Primarch series.
not the Primarch series, it's the end of the death is the Journey to Terra books.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Side of each one of those has been a color print of one of the Primarchs. That's just basically the size of the sheet of paper. What they're doing is they took all of those and put them in as full size art prints. So 320 by 297 millimeters. That's some goofy number for all you British people.
A3, A4, yeah.
Yeah. And so they put all of those out as art prints, and they're going to put it together as a collection. It's definitely cool to see all the Primarchs because none of them are wearing power armor. They're kind of like in their pre-imperial garb. So it's really neat to see them that way. That is basically it. We saw some previews for Emperor's Children for 40K that you could
Yep.
steal part from, but that's not going to probably come out until March or April, according to some of those sources. And then
Allegedly.
allegedly, Interceptor City is coming out next
Yep.
weekend, which is going to be the long awaited sequel to Double Eagle, which is in the Gaunt's Ghost universe.
I'm actually looking forward to that one. I
Yep.
remember getting the first book in that series and loved it.
You
Yeah, I bought-
It felt like a retelling of World War II
Fighters, like
fighter stuff, and it
materials.
was really cool.
Yeah, I bought the first print run of the Double Eagle that actually had 2 of the pages backwards, like 90.
I got one from like Adepticon one year from and Dan Abnett signed it. So
Yeah, that was a good book. I loved that book and
Yeah.
listened to it a couple times on Audible already. And then GW put out an article on how to use the close combat weapons sprue.
Yep, that was definitely a kind of different article from GW when they kind of insulted some of their own artists in the way they did stuff and painted things.
I will say, and we again, any done paint, any paint is good paint.
Yes.
But I will say, if you are at the level of some of these painters on there, you're welcome to come to our hobby hangout and improve your skills. Definitely help out with improving flesh tones and
attaching weapons correctly with the correct hand grips.
Yeah, and highlighting,
excuse me,
learning how sheathed weapons work. We can definitely help out if you want to improve beyond some of the articles from GW, or if you want to row your boat with this lance.
There's also one other
Yes,
thing.
row your boat with that power spear.
Yes, there's they also announced something else. And
Go
that
ahead.
was that we're getting something new they're announcing for Heresy at the Grand Championships or whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
I still got
getting
one other official GW, and I was going to talk about that one. So unofficial from our friends at Monument Hobbies, they're working with the company Color Forge, and Color Forge makes spray paint that is exactly color matched to GW brush paint. If you follow GW's how to paint classes, what they'll do is they'll tell you to spray paint the model and then brush paint over it with exactly the same color, because they're slightly different and you don't want your touch-ups to look different. What this allows you to do is save a step, save time, and save money. And so Color Forge has originally been exclusive to the UK, but now it's starting to come over to the US from our friends at Monument. And so we'll start seeing that pop up here in the US shortly.
They were doing a bundle of a bunch of the colors too.
Yeah, and right now they've got them priced at about $18.50 a can, which is honestly cheaper than GW, and they're bigger cans.
Yeah, they're like 30% bigger, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I looked at the exact numbers, but they have a lot more paint in it than a GW can does.
Yep.
Are they labeled Monument or are they labeled the other company?
They're labeled
in the US. Okay. Color Forge.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, like Jamie and Duncan were saying, this week on November the 22nd, they're going to have a official reveal at 1 p.m. Eastern, so 12 Central for all of us in the correct time zone. It's going to go through and talk about some new releases coming up on the future for Heresy, Age of Sigmar, 40K. Pretty much every system was as part of that preview trailer. I would normally do a watch together party, but I've got a meeting right then and there. So what I'll probably do is be posting in our Discord of what comes up during the meeting.
That's reasonable. I'll be at work, unfortunately, won't be able to do anything. So sorry.
Well, come home to cool news.
Yeah, I'll come home to the neat stuff.
The last bit of news, Duncan, you were the happiest about it. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, I will. So a few months ago, there were pictures released on Facebook from a guy who found an unknown book at a used bookstore somewhere in England. The book was called Era of Ruin, and it was called The Anthology, and it included a number of pictures, including publication details, saying it's a Black Library publication. It's got copyright information in it. It's got table of contents in it, including The following stories: Angels of Another Age by John French, Fulgurite by Nick Kime, Fragments (parenthesis All We Have Left) by Dan Abnett, Ex Libris by John French, System Purge by Gav Thorpe, and After the Dawn, The Darkness by Guy Haley, Homebound by Chris Wright, and ends the book with The Carrion Lord of the Imperium by Aaron Dembski Bowden. It's also got a really nice leather hardback to it. It's got a rather unique ruined Imperial Eagle on the front. It's got all the markings and everything of it that make it look like it should be a Siege of Terra book. So for a while, everyone said, no, this is not legit. This is bogus. There is no way in hell this exists. It has an ISBN that does not track on any online ISBN trackers. But here's where things get weird. If you get a paperback copy of the End of the Death, Volume 2 or Volume 3, at the bibliography at the very front of the book, it tells you the Solar War, Siege of Terra novels, and it lists off Solar War, Lost the Damned, First Wall, Saturnine, Mortis, Warhawk, Echoes of Eternity, End of the Death, Volume 1, 2, and 3, and follows that up with Era of Ruin, the anthology by various authors, and the 3 novellas that have already been released. That tracks to this this unreleased book that has been somehow found that is called Era of Ruin. It is now listed as an official book being published sometime by Black Library in the Siege of Terra series.
So hasn't there been, or wasn't there at some point, a Siege of Terra book listed on Amazon to come out in January of 25? And everyone said it's bullshit and somebody's just speculating, and it popped up and went away and popped up and went away a couple times.
So
I remember reading about that a while back, like when the last book dropped right afterwards or something.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Hmm.
I do know that people have been mining Amazon and mining ISBN stuff and mining Black Library and other places trying to find out if there is anything else coming for the Siege of Terra, and if there's anything else coming out for the Horus Heresy books themselves. And I haven't seen anything like what you're talking about. That said, what I have seen is more confirmation that this book is actually real through actual GW on the actual in the novels that they've put out that clearly list this book. So that is one big thing that I think kind of says a lot about this one being legitimate. We don't know who the actual artist is, so we can't go to the actual artist for their actual illustrations on it. But from what people are talking about, the artists for inside of the book lists the following people potentially: Neil Roberts for cover artwork, who's done a lot of stuff for GW and Siege of Terra. Anna Lakozova, a French lady who's done stuff for interiors. Zuzana Wukyau or Wozniak, or however, she's based in Krakow. She's done other stuff for interiors. Mikhail Savior, another Citadel author or another Citadel illustrator who's done stuff for interiors. And supposedly all of this stuff is showing up and possibly leading up to the beginnings of a scouring series. And that's what is been talked about in a number of different places. Now, do we have all the story about this? No. But is this book actually confirmed through GW's own bibliography in End of the Death Volume 2 and Volume 3 in paperback? Yes. So, for those out there who did not know that this was going on, there's going to be another Siege of Terra book that is confirmed, and it's called Era of Ruin. And it's probably going to come out in leather when it first drops, just like all the other ones. And it's probably going to have a special edition. and we're going to see what goes on from there. And that's my big news drop. That's something that we've talked about before on here, wishing that it would happen and hoping it would lead to the Scouring series. And now we have official confirmation that this book is legitimate and that it's real and it's not bogus like we all originally suspected it was, that someone was putting a fake book on and put a lot of effort into playing a gotcha on the heresy community at large. Well, gotcha is not real. It's a real book. And I am ecstatic about this. I've been trying to scour ways to find any information that I can about how to order it, price, anything, and I just can't find anything yet other than what picture-wise has been confirmed.
Well, I know in the past Barnes and Nobles will not have them listed online, but if you go in store, frequently you will find stuff that is out way, way before the street dates.
So I've called Barnes and Noble. I've called our other local bookseller, Joseph Beth, trying to find any information that they may have on it, even giving them ISBNs from the actual supposed ISBN, and I got nothing. So
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I will look for it when I go in over the holidays because I usually do that because they have gaming stuff like basically 40% off all the time. So
I can't find anything on that now, Duncan. I sort of was a chat group that you would have been in when that popped up. But I remember a while back, like before this book leak came up, there was a pre-order on Amazon and they were going nuts about it, and everyone was like, "You're crazy, there's no more books coming out." I can't find anything searching right now.
I don't know.
Or I'm going crazy. Who knows?
I'm going to go with early onset dementia
yeah,
for
God,
both of us.
God, I hope not.
For both of us.
See, I definitely think it's probably more Scouring related than it is War of Terra related.
Yeah, but it's listed under the Siege of Terra books, so
Well,
that's
like, I
interesting.
mean, coming home, and I mean that sounds like an epilogue, right? So it would lead into the Scouring, right? It's what's going on with specific legions and characters coming out of the Siege of Terra. I mean, everything that you said there makes sense for an epilogue and lead into the next story. And let's face it, if GW ends the Siege of Terra at the Siege of Terra, and knowing how rabid we are for everything historical 40K and how big Heresy is, and they don't continue the novel series and then eventually take the campaign books into post Siege of Terra, for the game with campaign books and new rules. I mean, they're dumb if they don't do that. So it makes perfect sense, knowing that novels and lore are ahead of the game, and it just, there's the avenue there for them to continue to make money off of us, right?
That's the big thing that I think leads to it being, this is almost certain, is GW's money hungry, just like every other company in the world. So if they can make money off of us, they're going to. And
I mean,
this is a proven top seller for them. So, yeah.
I mean, I could even see, a reprint or redo, so to speak, maybe not a reprint of the old Badabor books, but taking all of that lore and putting it out again to lead into, also a campaign book that uses Age of Darkness rules, current Heresy rules for, Badabor era stuff too, right? So, that knowing how many people are out there playing Badabor campaigns still with, no real rule set that supports it because 40K doesn't anymore. I mean, I could still see it even leading that far ahead, right?
It's possible. I mean, it would all depend on how much interest GW thinks there is on something like that. I'm just specifically for right now, I'm just talking about novels because the novels, the
Oh,
Black
sure.
Library is pure money for them because
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean they're selling every single time they drop one of the Heresy novels, it sells. It hits bestseller books.
Yeah, I was gonna say it hits on the best-selling list.
So they've
So if they did that, yeah, that's just pure money for them.
they've been releasing some of the older books, the old Imperial Armor books, as novels. So they took a lot of the fluff that was written around Vrax and released that recently as a Death Core book. So it wouldn't be that much work to take some of the Badab stuff or some of the Scouring stuff, but
Yeah.
we'll see. It's nice to just keep an eye on all this and not get our hopes up too high.
Yeah. True.
But that's all the news we've got. We really didn't have a topic this week.
Mostly because we've had a lot of news and we've all been spread out and busy. Yeah,
Life is life.
life is life.
But next week, if you are listening to this in time for November the 23rd, I will be hosting an event at Dallas Games Marathon and catering with another smoked turkey this year. So if you're in the area, stop by, have fun, play Apocalypse with us.
That sounds groovy.
It is very groovy.
Is the Battle Barns event already? Has that already happened, or is that
Yes,
coming?
that was now 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We've got another event that I'm going to be hosting coming up on December 28th after Christmas. That one's probably going to be a lot less involved than Apocalypse, but we'll have to see what's going on there.
And we also have Adepticon coming up next year. As it
Yep.
were.
Have a Blake's event in Alabama.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I think if I may have heard that it's basically sold out. They've sold out a lot of extra tickets, or there may be like one day and one 2-day ticket left. The last time I talked to them about it, so I mean, it's packed.
Just
It's
rust a
also-
door, nobody can stop you.
It's also never too early to start planning to go to Milwaukee at the end of March.
Yeah, 4 months away or whatever, or something like that. No, 1, 2, 3,
5.
5. Yeah.
Not enough time.
I think
And-
it's,
Well, John will be painting terrain until the week before.
The night before.
I think that's a tradition.
Yeah.
That's one thing we could actually start is for those who actually are attending Adepticon, getting hobby pledges from people saying what they're pledging to have done before Adepticon, so that we can try to sit there and call them out for the good work they're doing and help provide motivation for people who are working on stuff for Adepticon or for other large events next year.
I say,
That would be kind of neat to do.
say screw that. Let's go more.
Let's go. What do you mean more?
What do you mean, John?
Let's resurrect Age of Darkness's 2-week hobby challenges.
Ooh,
Because they didn't do anything with it because they only release an episode every 6 months.
okay. Are we wanting to do this starting next year? Is that what you're talking about, or we just want to start this now?
Let's start it now.
Oh,
We're getting to ready for Adepticon.
okay.
So what right now, what do you plan on having done 2 weeks from now, Duncan?
Worldly or not worldly.
Okay, hold on. I can stop spot doing medals on the other 60 guys. I can have another squad of the World Eater Rampagers complete other than bases by the end of the next 2 weeks.
All right. Who are you going to call out?
I'm going to call out Dan. Dan, what are you going to do the next 2 weeks?
I will have my Valentis Dolar, his command squad, including the Primus Medicae, primed and bases picked out and primed in 2 weeks. So finished, built, and primed.
Okay. Who are you going to call out?
Jack.
I will have this podcast posted.
You do realize you're in the best place to control to make sure you get your stuff done, because you can hold this podcast and get your stuff done and then post this and already have your stuff done before you post it.
Or I can just edit it out and say it was lost in
You could do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I think we'd all prefer if you didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
just what I said I'm going to have done, not the whole podcast. I wouldn't do this. Maybe, I don't know, edit it out. CIA came, Black Side.
Okay. And I guess you want to call out Jamie then, since he's the remainder.
Oh yeah.
Hold
Oh,
on.
Jamie. I just work here.
Yeah, John didn't pledge anything yet either, did he?
So I'm
nope.
gonna go. I'm going all in.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna go John level of insanity. I'm. You ready for it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish the White Scars army, the Toys for Tots army, like building it out, and then I'm also gonna have probably 3 to 4 of the secret terrain thingies done.
Oh wow.
So what kind of so just for scale of what's left? I mean, how many models are we talking to build?
So for the White Scars, I have 4 more Golden Keshig bikes. I have 2 Dreadnoughts, 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts. I have a Land Raider, a Proteus or whatever you call it, the base Land Raider, and I have a jet bike chaplain and a las gun team or las cannon team, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, not horrendous. The Land Raider will take a little bit because it's one of the new kits, so that they're just complicated. They're not complicated. There's a lot of parts. And the jet bikes will take about, from what I'm averaging, about an hour each for each jet bike to build. Because I'm putting all the flim flams on it, because that's how I do all our Toys for Tots stuff. And the las cannon team won't be long. The Dreadnought shouldn't be too bad either, but yeah, with my family being out of town, I can do nothing but hobby. So when I get home from work, but yeah, I'm going in. I'm going all in. So I'm gonna get that done, and I can set up a print on a 3D printer and let it go while I'm working and run while I'm at work, because it's about each one of these plates is taking about 6.5 hours to run because of all the stuff that the sheer height and scale of the stuff I'm printing.
I am correct that John didn't commit to anything. He just came up with the idea, right?
Correct.
So what you gonna do, John?
I'm going to commit to having all of the parts of the Memorial Garden built and primed.
Excuse me.
And then I'm going to do a test layout and make sure I don't need to build anything else. And also have cut all of the bases for the garden as well as the bases for the city fight.
So me and John are going like big dick player tonight, huh?
Yep.
That's definitely the way it feels.
Well, I owe you all that with how little I've been able to do the past 2 months. So I figure I better get it in while I can.
I'm going realistic and hoping that my freaking sinuses finally let off and let me actually see things without my eyes watering at that scale to actually be able to build crap. But that's a me problem.
I've got most of the individual memorial pieces built. I just need to build the war ones, and then depending on how many of those I build, I might need to go back to Daiso's to find some more bases, or more statue bases. And then the bases themselves, most of them have probably already been cut for some of the MDF I've got laying around, but we'll have to see.
More Connexes.
Jack and I went, and they didn't have anything, but they had some of the pipes. That was about all they had.
Yeah. I mean, I know you said it's hit or miss when they have them, because whenever they do have them, you like literally loot them.
Yeah, I actually got yelled at by an old lady because she was in the way. I was reaching around her to grab all the Connexes. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm buying these." She's like, "Well, I was gonna do that," and I was like, "Well, you didn't," and then I grabbed them all.
I mean, there you go.
like, John's like, how many do you need? I'm like, is 30 too many? He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
It's John. I mean, somehow nothing is too many.
No. Oh.
Guys,
All I
Jack,
heard was
I don't
John
wanna get-
giving an old lady reach around. That's all I heard.
Jack was like, I don't want to get anything. I was like, well, at least get one set of pipes. That way I can always send you more if you like the size of them later.
Yeah, I love the size of his pipe.
He likes laying pipe, man. I mean,
It's so late. I'm so tired.
Jesus. Well, at that point, gentlemen, since we've all pledged for what we're going to do we want to open this up to people on the Discord and in our listeners out there?
Sounds like if there were somebody that understood Discord,
Oh,
we could have a hobby pledge channel.
oh God, Dan.
speaking of that, did you add the shopping list thing to the Discord? Because I don't remember if you did or not.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that was
yeah,
done the night
that's-
we talked about it.
Yeah, that's somewhere, definitely somewhere on the Discord.
Sure.
Yeah, it's over there on the left side in the accountability buddy section, which means the entire thing.
Okay.
And
I'm scrolling to it right now.
yep, it's over there on the left-hand side
That's
with the stuff on it.
Oh,
thing.
okay. The stuff section. Yes, I see that stuff section.
Yeah, I need to figure out what to actually call that because I haven't put that in there yet.
So why do we have a battle scribe section and not a channel and not a what the hell's the new thing?
If we
New
want this,
recruit
if we
channel.
want this to be a
Oh. Go ahead.
uh,
Yeah, I think we should end the podcast and then we can bitch about
Well,
it.
hold on. There's one thing I wanted to say. So, because we're getting in the United States, at least, we're getting into Black Friday season. We might want to let people know of stuff that we've seen that are hobby sales coming up already. No? Okay.
we could, yeah.
So,
Is this separate of our sponsors? This would be a good thing to put on our sponsor section.
well, some of them are separate of our sponsors, and some of them are our sponsors.
That's fair.
What,
I think
what
I
do you
saw
have
an
for us, Jay?
advertisement for what the paint company in Texas. What the hell are they called?
Reaper,
Scale
Scale
75.
75. Yeah, they're.
I
I think they're 25%.
they've got a
off.
they've sent their Black Friday announcement out already.
Yep. So they have
Not a sponsor, but
Battle Foam has announced everything on their website is 30% off everything, and then they have other items that are up to 50% off. And then if you're one of their VIP members or whatever they call it, they that's an additional 5% off of that as well.
USA Gundam is doing 20% off, but you have to sign up for their email list.
Yeah.
If you want to get God Hands on sale, that's a good way to do it.
Yep.
New Type is also doing that. Newtype.us. Again, I recommend signing up for their email list so you know when it happens.
So I know because I've already seen them. Eagaloo, however you say it, the 3D printer makers, they have Eagaloo. They have sent out some of their Black Friday deals already. There are some very, very good deals on the Saturn 3 Ultra, which is the one that we kind of have been recommending because it doesn't have all the latest whiz-bang stuff that looks like it can fail. It also has the largest print area for the medium-sized printers. They are new in box. They are on very good sale. And then the Jupiter SE, which is the mega big boy, like Titan-sized parts, that is also on sale. It's a lot. It's a big step up. You're going from like $300 range to like $650, but that's actually a pretty good price for it. So there'll be a lot more coming out for actually, and they have like bundle deals too, where like I don't remember what they all are, but like add-on parts and the accessories, they're basically throwing it in for free or giving you free resin. So, and I know. I thought I saw Magazine Midwest Airbrush has already had announced some of their stuff. I know that they announced that they will have the they have the new H&S Infinity to 2024 or 2025 Infinities. They have a pre-order for those right now. Those are a little expensive. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm rather waiting for the new needles that they have in there and the nozzles versus the whole airbrush. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more, but those are the ones I know I've seen so far. Yeah, Scale 75 has theirs. I don't know if did Monument have one last year?
No.
Yeah, but we have a discount with what's our website?
HeresyPodcast.com. And if you use the discount code HeresyABB, you'll get 1% off. If you use this code HeresyABB, you'll get a discount with Elric's as well.
Yep.
I hear they make bases or something.
They
Yeah,
do.
they do. They also
They do.
have
You
a
can
lot of
also-
bases. They have all the secret weapon ones.
And if you use Heresy ABB as a code with Pop Goes the Monkey, you'll get a discount on shipping.
Yep. So with Elric's, I just got in their black primer and their sealer, and I'll be doing a review of those for next episode.
Nice.
There we go.
We'll have more on the next show too, but that's just kind of the stuff that we know that we've already seen. So
yeah. Anyway, I think at that point, guys, we've hashed about enough as we can hash tonight. Anyone got a disagreement there?
Duncan, tell John to take us out of here.
John, Jack says take us out of here.
All right, everybody. So thank you for joining us for this short and sweet and bouncing off the walls episode of Heresy Accountability Buddies podcast. Always remember to stay accountable to your buddy, to your friends, and to your hobby. And I've been joined by
Dan.
Duncan.
This is a normal size episode.
Jamie.
We'll
Oh my
talk
gosh.
next week. Have a good one.
Night.
Good night.
Hey,